If you're moving to Gainesville and you're hoping to buy a house that you can update, upgrade, and build in equity over time, this video is going to save you a lot of disappointment later. Because some of the upgrades that you're thinking about doing that feels smart can actually kill your resale value later. Over the years, I have helped hundreds of buyers either moving to Gainesville or moving around inside of Gainesville buy a home that has what we call potential value. That's a home that needs a few upgrades that can add value to the property later when you go to sell it. And here's the funny thing. When those buyers call me a few years later because it's time to sell and we take a walk through the house to look at what they've done, there's a few surprises. The upgrades that they decided to do were not the same upgrades that buyers were looking for. And the return of investment on those upgrades, not so great. Really, shockingly low. So if you're relocating and planning to buy a home that you can improve, whether it's going to be your first home or it's going to be your forever home, you need to know what's going to actually add value and which ones are going to make the buyers instantly say, yeah, I'm going to change that. Today I'm breaking down 10 upgrades that buyers thought were going to pay off, but absolutely didn't. Let's start with the one that surprises almost everyone, especially people who think about renovating the kitchen the moment they move in. Because the first one sounds like a great idea and it photographs beautifully on Pinterest and Instagram, and yet it consistently delivers one of the worst return on investments. Let's talk about the gourmet kitchen trap. This is the one where you're watching a cooking show and you see the chef's stove, and then you see the $12,000 fridge that also makes pebble ice, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, my kitchen needs to look like this. But here's the truth, and don't hate me for it. The fancy kitchen that you want to do, the return on it is only about 59%. So if you're planning to drop around $40,000 for your kitchen to look like the Food Network, then plan to get around $23,000 back when you sell. Buyers love kitchens, but they're not going to pay top dollar for expensive upgrades. Why? Because most buyers don't need restaurant equipment. They don't need a fridge that syncs with their phone. They don't need a sink big enough to wash that Great Dane that they don't have. What they do want is simple, clean, updated, neutral, and move-in ready. So instead of ripping out cabinets and buying updated luxury appliances, do this instead. Paint the cabinets, add modern hardware, updated lights for bright, simple fixtures. Choose a timeless backsplash. Those upgrades cost a lot less and give your kitchen a clean, timeless look that the buyers are looking for. A gourmet kitchen looks amazing. I get it, I want one too. But if you're doing this right before you go to sell your house, it's like lighting your money on fire. Unless you're really a chef or you're pretending to be one on TikTok, just keep it simple. Your wallet and your future buyer will thank you. This next upgrade screams high maintenance landscaping. You know the look, exotic plants, koi pond, a fountain that bubbles up and you feel like you're a spa in Bali. It's gorgeous. And it's usually a terrible idea for resale. And here's why. Most buyers, they don't want a yard that's gonna feel like they have a part-time job. They don't need to feed koi fish. They don't want to learn what a tropical hybrid triple bloom night orchid needs to survive. They want a yard that they can mow in 20 minutes and go back inside. Or if they choose to hire someone to take care of the yard, it's not gonna cost them a second car payment. So if you're gonna upgrade the yard, keep it simple. Think mulch, easy shrubs, a few healthy plants, maybe some lights so the yard doesn't look spooky at night. A low maintenance yard is gonna get a lot more love from buyers than a full botanical garden. Now we're at the sunroom surprise. Adding a new sunroom sounds dreamy. All sunshine, plants, cozy chairs, that entire magazine vibe. But here's a plot twist that nobody tells you about. That bright sunroom might not count towards your home square footage. Right, appraisers don't often include it because it's not built like real living space. And if it's not well insulated or it feels separate from the main house, buyers treat it like a bonus porch instead of real living area. And the return on investment, it's only around 48%, which means if you're spending around $20,000, you're gonna get just underneath $10,000 back. So here's the truth. If you really want a sunroom for yourself, then go for it. But if you're adding it thinking you're gonna get the dollar for dollar value back out of it, then just skip it. This next upgrade left just as fast as it came in, and that is the huge office remodel. Look, during COVID, offices were everything. People were buying giant desks, gaming chairs, 2 monitors, ring lights, and some people went into full overdrive and built in full custom offices, cabinets, built-in mood lights, everything you can imagine, the whole thing. But now those people are back to working outside of the home. The huge office that you spent thousands of dollars on has an ROI of about 45%. The problem is simple. A super specific office makes your house feel like it's less flexible. When buyers walk in, instead of saying, wow, this looks like it would be a great extra bedroom or a flex space or an exercise room, instead they say, this sounds like it's gonna be expensive to undo. So here's the move. Keep the space simple, clean, and flexible. Go with neutral paint, simple shelving, and furniture that can be removed. Make it feel like it can be an office or a playroom or a gym or a craft studio or just anything that the buyer can imagine that they want to use it for. The more options the buyer sees, the more they're going to like the room. So keep it flexible and you'll do better with your return on your investment. Let's talk about another upgrade that sounds cozy at first, but it makes buyers want to run in the other direction. I know, carpet feels amazing, soft, and comfy, especially when you're putting your feet on them first thing in the morning. But here's the truth, carpet everywhere can actually hurt your home's value. In fact, studies show that carpet can actually lower your home's value by 3.6%, while hardwood floors can actually increase your home's value 2.5%. Buyers today, when they walk into a house that has fully carpeted floors, they immediately start calculating how much it's going to cost to replace those floors. They also want to know how long is it going to take to rip them out and install new floors. And while they may have to live with the floors for a period of time, then they start calculating, how dirty are these floors? How many pets do they have? What kind of stains are on the pad? That's because carpets trap everything. Dust, pet hair, smells, stains that you're pretending aren't even there. And even when you professionally clean it, it doesn't ever look brand new again. Hardwood floors, tile floors, and luxury vinyl plank, they look cleaner, they last longer, and buyers trust them more. So if you love carpet, keep it in the bedroom, or better yet, get like area or throw rugs. But flooring in the main areas really should be hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl plank. They're gonna give you a better return on your investment, and buyers are gonna have very few objections about them. Now that we're done talking all about the floors, let's step outside. This one is especially tricky because it looks amazing in photos, but the return on investment might shock you. Look, outdoor living is fun. We all love a nice patio, string lights, and a cozy fire pit. But here's the problem. When you build too much, you might not get your money back. For example, a large paver patio with a great fire pit in there is gonna run you around $9,000, but the return that you're gonna get on it is around $5,000. That's a pretty big gap. And the reason for that is outdoor spaces are very personal. Not everyone wants a giant patio, and not everyone wants a built-in fire pit. Plus, these features come with maintenance. Weeds between pavers, cleaning, sealing, ash cleanup, propane refills. Buyers start thinking, this looks great, but do I really want the maintenance of all of this? Also, they think, am I really going to use it that often? The idea sounds fun, but then reality sets in. So here's your money smart tip. Keep the patio a reasonable size and make it clean and inviting. Don't overbuild or turn your backyard into a resort. Buyers love a nice outdoor space, but the simpler and more flexible it is, the better return you're gonna get on your investment. Quick story for you. I had a buyer that when they bought their house, the backyard was pretty small and they decided to build a very huge deck in the backyard. It took up half of the backyard. Now the problem was when they went to go resell it, all the people that were coming by had families and they had large animals, and they thought there's not enough space back here for the dogs to play or for us to put up a swing set. So be careful about putting too much or overbuilding your backyard. Speaking of backyards, let's talk about the next upgrade that looks like the ultimate dream, but it can become one of your biggest money traps if you're not careful. Now, if you live in Florida or you're moving to Florida, especially Gainesville, where we're about 2 hours from either coast and going to the beach, you think it's 900 degrees outside. Of course we need a pool. And honestly, I get it. We purchased 2 houses that had pools. And here's the part that nobody tells you about. Just because pools sound amazing, it doesn't mean that they're amazing to your wallet. Nationwide, pools only boost your home's value by around 7%. Why is it so low? Because not every buyer wants a pool. Some are scared of the maintenance of a pool, while others are scared of the insurance and the liability. And some are scared that their child or their beloved animal is gonna fall in. Now, Florida is different. Here in Gainesville, a pool is gonna help your home stand out a lot more than it will if you had a house up north. You will get more use out of it, and buyers like having one. But whether you're in Florida, Minnesota, or Chicago, the math still matters. Take into consideration weekly cleanings, chemicals, repairs, increased electricity, a buyer pool that is smaller than you think. So here's a rule of thumb. Install a pool only if you are going to use it and you're going to enjoy it, not because you think that you're going to get your money back out of it. Pools are a lifestyle upgrade, they're not an investment upgrade. And speaking of big expensive upgrades, this one sounds luxurious, it feels luxurious, and it almost never pays for itself. Adding additional living space. Adding more space sounds like the smartest way to increase your home's value. I mean, bigger space, bigger price tag. At least that's what everybody assumes. But here's the truth. Adding another primary living space is one of the most expensive upgrades that you can do, and the return is nowhere near what you expect. The added cost for a primary additional living space is around $136,000, and the average return is about 50%. Yes, you heard that right. So when you spend $136,000, you will be getting back around $68,000. It's one of the lowest ROIs in the entire remodeling world. Why is it so low? Because adding a primary suite is not going to exactly match what your buyers want. And sometimes it makes a house feel too big for the neighborhood, or the position of where you added it is awkward in the layout and floor plan. I was recently in a home where they added a huge additional living space, but you had to go through the garage and the laundry room to get to it. It was weird, just really weird. So here's a rule. Only add that additional space if you absolutely need it to live. And when you do, make sure that the design stays with the style of the home and that you are not overly upgrading your house for the neighborhood. This can be a great lifestyle upgrade, but it's not going to be the great value boost for your home that you're hoping for. And while we're talking about expensive upgrades that look amazing but don't always pay off, the full bathroom remodel. This one surprises people a lot, but remember, bathrooms are a very personal space. You want the fancy tile, the spa shower, heated floors, maybe even a bathtub big enough to swim laps in. But here's the issue. Your dream bathroom is not their dream bathroom. And when you're spending that much money on something so specific, you want the buyers to love it too. And I will tell you, they just don't. A mid-range bathroom remodel is going to get you about a 35% return on your investment, while a luxury bathroom model comes in at only 33%. Yeah. You heard that right. Zillow confirms that a full bathroom remodel rarely pays off. Why? Because buyers are not paying extra for heated floors or marble walls. They just want something that's clean, functional, and move-in ready. So instead of going for that full luxury spa mode, instead focus on the basics like fresh paint, updated vanity, new fixtures, clean tile, and good lighting. These simple changes will make the bathroom feel new without dumping a bunch of money into it that won't pay off. And now for the big one, the upgrade that costs the most, hurts a lot, and has almost always triggered buyer complaints: converting your garage into a living space. On paper, it sounds great. More space equals more value. You have a bigger house, so you should naturally have a bigger price tag. But here's a catch. When you convert your garage into, let's say, a bedroom or a bonus space, you lose something that buyers really want, and that's an actual garage. People want a place to park their car, store their stuff, keep bikes, tools, kayaks, all the things that do not belong in the living room. Now, if you really need this space, let's say you've got family that's moving in or a teenager that needs the space, then go for it. Just be sure that you keep some form of parking and you're able to convert this space back to a garage. If not, this upgrade is going to backfire. Look, I'm not saying that after you close on your home that you shouldn't do these upgrades. If you love them and you plan on enjoying them, then absolutely go for it. But don't do them thinking that you're going to get every dollar back when you go to sell. That is not how real estate works. The best thing to do is to look around your neighborhood and see what your neighbors' homes look like. You don't want to over improve or have that super fancy home that sticks out like a sore thumb. Buyers will not pay extra for it just because you did. And hey, if you were in the Gainesville, Newberry, or Alachua High Springs area and you're thinking about upgrading your home after you buy it or before you sell, let's talk before you spend a single dollar. I can walk you through what actually adds value in this market and what you might want to consider skipping. And if you're thinking about selling, absolutely be sure to call me before you do any upgrades. Use the link below to fill out my quick questionnaire. This helps me understand what you're planning so I can point you in the right direction. No pressure, just guidance so that you don't waste money. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.